first up, we're going to hear from Kristen McKenna, who attempted to find a practical career related to her favorite pastime by earning a degree in technical writing. However, she swiftly discovered that writing without imagination is not nearly as fun as writing with it. No matter the genre, she loves to write witty heroines, worthy heroes who deserve them, and a cast of lovable characters to surround them. Kristen currently resides in Austin, Texas, with her own personal hero and their 2 children. Kristen?
All right. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're really excited to get to talk with you. My name is Krista McKenna. I actually write under 3 different pen names. So this is one of my multiple personalities going on here. Under Abigail Owen, I write paranormal romance. Under Katie Scott, I write steamy contemporary romance, cowboys, rom-coms. And then under this name, Kristen McKenna, I write sweet contemporary romance and Amish romance. So basically what all that breaks down to is I love all genres of romance pretty much. And someday I'll probably have 10 different pen names because I'm going to write in all the genres. That's my goal. The goals, right? My latest release is, let me see if I can get it where the light's not on it. There we go. It's Snowball's Christmas. That not the most adorable kitten cover you've ever seen. I love the cover that Kensington did for this. So Snowball's Christmas is a sweet contemporary romance. And what's kind of fun about this one is that the kitten that's on the cover, Snowball, has a scene in every chapter that's from her point of view because she's the matchmaker. And I base this a lot on, okay, I cannot be the only one out there that makes like thoughts for your pets, like that you can see my puppy in the background, Rex. Like your pet's sitting there and you're like, this is totally what he's thinking. And so you'll like speak for your pet. And so that's basically what I did with Snowball in these chapters where she's trying to get this couple together. And they're clearly, these silly humans are not getting that they are meant to be forever family for her. And so I had a lot of fun with this. And it's set at Christmas in a Victorian inn. And I just got to base it on a lot of, you know, my own favorite things about Christmas, you know, German desserts that we have a lot in our family. I married my husband's whole family's from Germany, and so we have a lot of German desserts in there, and I love that. And so that's fun. I actually just signed the contract for the 3rd book in this series this week, which I'm super excited about. The 2nd book is going to be the 12 Days of Snowball, and that's coming out. That's already written. I don't know what he's barking at. That's already written, and that's coming out next fall. And then now the next book in it will be How Snowball Stole Christmas. And so each one will still be different couples that come to visit the inn that she helps find true love for. And in that one, she might actually find a little bit of love herself.
All right, up next is Priscilla Oliveras, who is a USA Today bestselling author, 2018 RWA and Rita double finalist, and 4-time Golden Heart finalist, who writes contemporary romance with a Latinx flavor. Proud of her Puerto Rican Mexican heritage, she brings authenticity to her novels by sharing her culture with her readers. She and her work have received praise from the New York Times, Entertainment Weekly, and Publishers Weekly, amongst many others. Priscilla earned her MFA from Seton Hill University. Priscilla?
Hola, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm super excited. I'm so thankful for all the virtual, the Zoom, the opportunities. It's been kind of strange releasing a book in the middle of a pandemic. I really like what we do is oftentimes in our writing cave, we say, so we're you know, by ourselves other than social media. So I really look forward to conferences and author and reader events and in-person meetings. So I'm sorry that we can't make it to Boulder, but at the same time, all these virtual events have actually allowed us, Vanessa and Kristen and Sarah and I have been I think like out in LA, and we've been in all kinds of cities, but while we've been in the comfort of our homes. So I'm really thankful to Boulder Bookstore for hosting us this evening. A little bit about myself, like the bio said, I write Latinx romance. What that means is that the majority of my main characters, the main love interests, oftentimes both the hero, the heroine, sometimes just one is Latinx, they're Hispanic or Latino, if you're not familiar with the Latinx term. So similar, in Island Affair, this is kind of the book that we're giving a shout out tonight. It's book 1 in my Keys to Love series. if you pick up a Priscilla Oliveras novel, you'll find that there are a lot of family, or I say a lot of familia themes throughout. There's typically one family that carries throughout the series. So in the Keys to Love series, it's the Navarro familia. They are 4 siblings, 3 brothers and a sister, 3rd generation Cuban Americans living in Key West. And they are all firefighter paramedics. And so you'll get to meet all of the Navarro familia in Island Affair, but the love story, the romance is Luis. He's the 2nd oldest brother, and Sarah Vance. And so in a nutshell, kind of, Island Affair is a story about what happens when a savvy social media influencer, that's our heroine Sarah, lands in Key West, only to find out that she's being stood up by her boyfriend. And she's there for a week-long vacation with her family, who tends to be a little judgmental about her job and about what she's doing. They're all type A, go-getter surgeons in Phoenix. And so she's already iffy about this family vacation, and now she's stood up by her boyfriend. And the last thing she wants to do is arrive at their rental home by herself, having been dumped. And she runs into our hero, Luis. And Luis has a little bit, or more like a lot of bit, of a savior complex that's that he's kind of dealing with. He's got something in his past, like all good heroes do in a romance novel. He's got some hang up from his past that he's not dealing with very well, and it's kind of flared up. And so his captain has told him, look, you've got some days off. I don't want to see you at the station for the next week. Like, get your head on straight. And the last thing Luis wants to do is have a week off to just think about his problem, because he's used to helping other people solve their problems. And when he runs into Sarah, and she needs a boyfriend for the week, and he's got a week of time to kill, he says yes. And so Island Affair is a fake relationship. That's a common romance trope. It's a fake relationship. It's but in a small island like Key West, it's 3 miles by 5. I lived there all through junior high and high school. So for me, I'm super excited to take readers home with me to Key West. And as a kid who was there as an adolescent, I know that it's very hard to keep much secret from your parents on a small island. And when you have a mommy that's got a Cuban mommy radar, like Mami Navarro, she's bound to find out what her son is up to. And so there's a lot of family shenanigans. There's also on both sides, because they're trying to keep this fake relationship alive around both families. And so I really hope, my goal for those who read Island Affair is that, and then the next book is Anchored Hearts, that comes out next May. It's you can get it, that's on pre-order now. That's Ana Maria's story. But my hope is for those who have visited Key West, that as they read Island Affair, they kind of recall their memories of being on the island, their toes in the sand. If you've never been to Key West, I hope that you finish the book and feel like you learned a little bit about the Cuban culture there and the Cuban familia, but that you feel like you visited Key West at the same time that you were getting to know Luis and Sarah. So that's a little bit about Island Affair. Like I said, Anchored Hearts comes out in May, and that is Ana Maria's second chance romance. And again, you'll meet the Navarro familia. You'll get, or not meet them, you'll get to spend a little more time with them then.
Up next is Vanessa Riley, who was fascinated by the Regency and early Victorian eras, and so made time for Renaissance fairs, period novels, and films while obtaining her PhD in mechanical engineering from Stanford University. She is a member of Romance Writers of America, specialty RWA chapters, the Beaumont and the Georgia chapters, as well as the Historical Novel Society. Vanessa also juggles her military hobby, mothering a teen and speaking at women's events. Vanessa?
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Boulder Bookstore, thank you again for making this opportunity. As Priscilla has said, all of us, first of all, I love my co-hosts here because I get to see them. We would have seen each other at least 2 or 3 times had not been a pandemic in person. So this is the next best thing. And once again, we get to hang out in your living rooms and be able to share the joy of writing. My latest series, Rogues and Remarkable Women, the first book is A Duke, the Lady and the Baby. This is a regency that's a diverse regency. So I'm going to take you on a journey to show you sides of this piece of history that often isn't showcased. It's a very diverse time frame. There are between 10 to 20,000 free blacks called blackamoors that live in London during the time of Jane Austen. That's why her very last book, Sanditon, the wealthiest woman in the book, is a woman from the West Indies called Miss Lamb. And for me, all my life, when I'm a history nut and I'm reading all these different things, and when I land on this book by Sanditon, and Pride and Prejudice is, the Queen Jane Austen is writing about my people background, being coming to England, it's a very exciting thing. And what people often don't realize is the West Indies, the transport from the West Indies, from the various islands, particularly Trinidad, Jamaica. I'm writing about the colony of Demerara, which is present day Guyana, Barbados, so many in the Leeward Islands. They often would send their children from the islands to Scotland and England for education and or marriage. And that's the case in A Duke, the Lady and the Baby. Our heroine, Patience Jordan, she has married a man Colin Jordan, and she thinks it's love, and she gets to England and all those wonderful words and things on contracts kind of go by the wayside. Colin has been dealing with some various issues, and then he mysteriously disappears and she finds out he's died. She's a new mother, and the way the inheritances works is the baby gets everything. The male son, he's the first male son born to the Jordans. He gets everything, the house and whatnot. And so whoever controls custody controls the world. And that has thrust Patience into Bedlam because, there's an evil uncle. There's always an evil uncle, right? The evil uncle, he wants the control. So he's gotten rid of her, and circumstances look like she's crazy. So no one in their right mind is going to give custody of this baby, this very wealthy baby, to anybody in particular, particularly a woman who's been committed to Bedlam. So the Widow's Grace is a secret society that is working to restore women, because during these time frames, women, regardless of who you were subject to various laws and regulations where you didn't really have a good shot, right? The next male heir, the next husband, the husband's family, they controlled everything. Your widow's dower, the amount of money that you're supposed to, live off of after your husband has passed away, your state of residence, it's the next of kin, which oftentimes it's the husband's family, but in this particular case, it's the baby. Baby can't really tell you anything other than, change my diaper. That's pretty much what we got, right? So the Widow's Grace is working to regain Patience's custody. They've broken her out of Bedlam, but the true guardian is the Duke of Repington. The Duke of Repington, Busick Strathmore, is a war veteran. He's for the past 2 years, he's been grappling with a very serious injury, and everything to this point has always been about his men and war. And so he's trying to regain, who is he now? I mean, yes, he's a Duke and he's got money. What Duke does it, right? But that's not been his purpose. His goal has been to advance the causes of England, to try and thwart Napoleon. And now he's relegated stateside. And the chance of him being the guardian to his cousin's son is almost like a new opportunity for him to reinvent his life, to do something purposeful and meaningful to raise this baby. And of course, like all military dukes, he takes custody with guns and a whole caravan of soldiers, because this is a rom-com. Even though we've got some very interesting heavy themes in here, it's got a lot of hilarity too. But I think it's very interesting to see the dynamic of the two interplay. You've got this mother who's desperate to do anything to be with her child, now has to pretend to be a maid in her old house, to a guy who's talked to some of his old lady friends about the best way to rear children. And they've told him that children need to be on a schedule, and he's a scheduled man. So, this baby has crawling practice at 10 a.m. Baby's 2 months old. He has elocution practice at 11. The baby's 2 months old. But, that's how you make a man of this baby. The series continues with an earl, the girl, and a toddler. And so one of the supporting characters that you meet in A Duke, the Lady and the Baby is the lead. barrister who works with the widow's grace in order to get the paperwork right. So if you're going to release somebody from Bedlam, if you're going to go up against the Chancery Council that actually establishes custody rights and administers will, you're going to need some paperwork, right? And so, of course, Lord Ashbrook, who's now elevated to be Lord Ashbrook, is the Earl in An Earl, the Girl, and a Toddler. And that particular book comes out in April of next year. It's my favorite trope that I've always wanted to do, amnesia. He doesn't have amnesia. Jamina, who you meet in A Duke, the Lady and the Baby, she has amnesia. And as fate has it, with these, he's key to helping her figure out her life that's missing, these pieces. And Jamina has to figure out, does she want the old life or this new possibility with potentially Lord Ashbrook, if that is what she's really called for. So this exciting series, once again, A Duke, the Lady and Baby, it's been reviewed in Publishers Weekly. It's a star review for Publishers Weekly. It's been reviewed in the New York Times, Library Journal, Entertainment Weekly, and throughout other books in my series, in the Washington Post, NPR, etc. So I think it's a great thing. I think you'll love it, and I'm done.
Last but most certainly not least is Sarah Skilton, author of Fame Adjacent and Club Deception, who is part of Tash Skilton, the pen name of Sarah and Sarvena's Tosh, author of The Geek's Guide to Unrequited Love and Virtually Yours, who met on Twitter and parlayed their online friendship into an in-real-life one. Their guidebook to forever friendship includes getting each other's 90s pop culture references, passionately discoursing their favorite TV shows, books, movies via email, and cheering each other on through the psychological matrix that is motherhood. Sarah?
Hi, everybody. My name's Sarah Skilton, and I'm the Skilton part of Tash Skilton. Sarvanez isn't here tonight because we've been alternating who does which events since we're both in the midst of homeschooling, and that made it a little easier. But our book, we combined our last names a la Fleetwood Mac. So Tash Skilton, this is our first collaboration, and it's called Ghosting, a Love Story. And the ghosting actually refers to ghost writers for online matchmaking services who hate each other by day and flirt online by nights. And basically, this is apparently a real thing. Like when Sarvanez and I decided we wanted to write something together, I happened to be looking for some freelance jobs. And I saw an actual listing looking for ghost writers to help the lovelorn like spruce up their biographies, fix their flirty skills, make sure they have good like subject headings and follow through and witty banter. And I thought, okay, this is crazy. I thought I wouldn't really want this job because I think it's a little bit catfishy. Not really. You just get them to the first date and then they take over and it's all real. But I thought, what a great idea for a rom-com. And so we basically pitched the book as a millennial, multicultural, you've got mail. Takes place in New York, as you can see. And it's also kind of a combination of Set It Up, if you saw that rom-com on Netflix about the two beleaguered assistants who try to get their bosses together so that work won't be so tough and their bosses will relax a little if they're like in a good relationship. A combo of Set It Up and The Hating Game, if anyone's read that one. It's definitely enemies to lovers. And it's also an homage to the films of Nora Ephron. And we basically have our two leads are freelance ghostwriters for rival online matchmaking companies. And they've set up shop at the same cafe every day. This cafe has one good table. The rest of the tables are tiny. And if you want to set up shop all day for your freelance job, you need the good table. So naturally they're fighting over it, and they get up earlier and earlier every morning so that they can be the first one to snag the good table while the other person like seethes at them from, the tiny table or across the room waiting for them to leave. Eventually they start to become friends, but they're still mostly enemies until one of them figures out that the people they're ghostwriting for is the other person in real life. So we kind of have two romances for the price of one. There's the clients, and then there's the two leads who are helping the hopeless clients up their game, basically. Sarvanez and I pretty much just had one goal when we wrote the book, which was to make each other laugh. So the fact that it's making other people laugh has been an amazing bonus. The book came out in May, and it was my very first foreign language translation. And now it's been translated into 6 languages. So it's either come out or is about to come out in Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, and in the Czech Republic, which has been amazing because that means there's a new cover and sometimes a new funny title. In England, it's called Mismatched in Manhattan. In the Czech Republic, it's called Application of Love, like a love app, I guess. In France, it's called The Little Cafe of Big Romance. And in Germany, what is it called in Germany? Oh, Tomorrow I Will Write You a Happy Ending is what it's called in Germany. So that's been a total blast to write. We had so much fun making each other laugh. We hope it makes you laugh too. And the other books I've written as a solo author, I kind of hopped around genre-wise. I've written a mystery called Club Deception, which takes place at an underground magic club in Hollywood that's loosely based on the Magic Castle. My husband happens to be a magician. So I've been eavesdropping on him for many years and just decided to do like a really heightened, sort of sexy, mysterious version with a murder mystery and a bunch of magicians' wives who team up to solve a murder. Women can also be magicians, and one of the magician's wives is actually the real secret behind the man's work, but she's never gotten any credit because she has stage fright. So there's all sorts of things with gender issues and magic and modern day illusions and stuff like that. Thank you to Boulder Bookstore for having us.